Gentlemen, a short view back to the past.
In 2001, Microsoft founded Turn 10 Studios under its gaming division with a clear goal: to develop a racing game series to compete with PlayStation's Gran Turismo. 20 years ago in 2005, it was released, and its name was Forza Motorsport. Not to be mistaken with 2023's Forza Motorsport, which we will be playing today. Boasting a roster of 231 cars and tracks from 15 real-world and fictional locations, this game laid the groundwork for the Forza series. It introduced key features such as performance affecting car damage and an in-depth paint and decal customization system, something of which Gran Turismo didn't have. This was fantastic as it provided Xbox users a Gran Turismo styled sim arcade racing game without forking out the cash for a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2. I must make it clear, we are not here to talk about Gran Turismo versus Forza. That's another video for another day. In this little video series I have produced for you, we will go through Forza Motorsport's 2025 update, which included a whole career mode dedicated to each star car and each game. We will take on the challenge mode, and as we progress through the series, we'll upgrade our cars accordingly, all while enjoying some historic tracks from each game. Although I am new when it comes to the Forza games, having only played a bit of Motorsport 7 and completing Forza Horizon 1 and 5, I am keen to try out these cars and racetracks, including the return of Fujimi Kaido. I've really enjoyed Forza Motorsport so far. It has been a very fun game with some fun online. So let's take a history lesson in gaming with these first set of challenges celebrating the game that lit the fire. Forza Motorsport 1 2005. And just like that, happy birthday Forza! 20 years of the Forza games, and as I said at the start, I grew up with PlayStation, so this all just flew right past me, which is quite crazy to think. Which also means it's my first time at Fujimi Kaido, and I'm super excited for it because I was looking up some videos on this track before I filmed this, and even after I filmed it as well, and just hearing the stories of people talking about the Toge battles they used to have, and my goodness, I'm glad they brought this back in 2025, and I think it has been 20 years as well of this game, and I'm going to give Forza some credit. They pushed the boundaries in areas where maybe Gran Turismo struggled a little bit, and I think, yeah, competition's always been a good thing in gaming, because having the two together means, you know, they push each other on. Never have a problem with competition, it's always good. As we get going in the first race, we added a few upgrades to get this car up to power performance level 700, and I went and focused more on the power aspect, especially as this track is quite uphill. So I thought, well, if we had more torque and power, a little bit more injection into the engine, we'll be able to get a bit further on, which is good. And we're making some progress at the start, and like I said, it's my first time here as well. I'm playing this on difficulty 5 for the first 2 races because I'm still finding my ground a little bit with the handling. I've played some of the campaign and done a little bit of online, but I'm still figuring my place in this game, which is, you know, that's just part of it. But it's quite cool to share my opening experiences with you. I mean, I bought the game on Game Pass, so it's been quite cool just to get it there and then, and, you know, try out all the cars. And there are a few things where I think Forza have done an amazing job with Motorsport. I think the car sounds in particular, like the NSX, just has this beautiful pop and growl when you're off the throttle in particular, which I'm a little bit of a sucker for. You know, when you hear like turbo, anti-lag systems, yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. And we're making our way through slowly. I found in the first sort of half of the race, we weren't the most competitive car. However, the car, once we ended up in a more uphill section, we were definitely much more competitive. So just something to take into note, because if your driver TARs and AI is anything like what I was going through, they'll be in RX-7s, which are very lightweight And yeah, a little bit of bang in there. I gave the place back actually because I really didn't want to get a penalty for it. And then as soon as the no penalty clearance came out, we just stuck it down the inside. Again, first time at the circuit. I think I only did about 2-3 laps before this game. So I'm definitely going to have to do some more runs on this track. But even so, we come to the end of the race. It was not the easiest victory. It was a 9-minute race, but I cut it down nice and short for you guys. But there we go. We won it by just about a second, give or take. And yeah, now we're at Maple Valley, which is another circuit I haven't really done much on. The practice was at night, so just something to take into account if you're looking for references when you're doing this yourself. Just be cautious because the lighting can change everything. Because once it hit daylight, this was a much easier race to do. But at the start, going into practice, it was a little bit of try and figure out where you are. And yeah, so this is a really good game. And my experience with Forza, as I said in the beginning section, was Forza Horizon 1 and Forza Horizon 5, which deserve to be mentioned in this because, of course, it's the 20th anniversary for the Forza franchise, not just Motorsport. Of course, they're focusing on that in particular because Horizon has its own anniversary playlist on Horizon 5 in particular at the moment, which I highly recommend playing the missions if you have that game, and also checking out the 10-year anniversary events they do, usually maybe once or twice a year. They rehash that playlist and bring back some old cars and missions. I'm very much looking forward to that coming out hopefully towards the end of July. At the moment it's Coffees and Cars, which is still pretty cool. So yeah, but yeah, I only played Forza Horizon 1 on a 360, which I bought to play Need for Speed Most Wanted. So for those who may know me personally, I will preach that Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 is arguably the greatest racing game of all time. I know. It was a very, very controversial take there, but I'll stand by it. It's my own personal favourite, at least. But I did play some of Forza Horizon 1, and I did play a little bit of Motorsport 3, but I didn't really want to count it because it was just more of an explore, you know, try some of the cars out. But these games, yeah, they have done really well. I think they definitely have a very fun aspect to it. Gran Turismo takes itself quite seriously, while Forza has that bit more fun entry-level vibe to it, which I think is great, especially for those brand new. Because when I played Gran Turismo 5, it was very much a, wow, okay, this game's quite intense and technical. So having maybe a building and entry-level step, a bit like what Forza provides, yeah, that would have been good, which I know Gran Turismo do. This isn't meant to be a Gran Turismo versus Forza video, I do promise, but this is my own personal experience on my own channel. And if you're enjoying the video as well, guys, and you know, I'm trying to bring some of this old school YouTube commentary back, as well as some new sort of editing and, you know, elements of that as well. Kind of a nice mixture to keep you guys engaged. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video across the world. Meanwhile, we're having another good race, and on lap 3 out of 5, we already took the lead. I definitely found Maple Valley a much easier circuit, but it was a little moment here, running wide. I had to make a decision. I was not going to use rewind. I avoid using rewind at all costs unless the AI does something absolutely stupid. So we took a 0.6 second penalty. Not that it really mattered because we ended up finishing first anyway. And going into the next race, I do apologise. I did actually mean 600 PI. Now we're going up to 700. I decided to really try and get some of the weight down on the car, including even the wheels, making the tyres a bit fatter, because if there's one thing I've learned from racing in general is that you really want to get that contact patch spot on. And because I was doing quite well in those first 2 races, I decided to up the AI to level 6. Again, I wanted something that was fun, and I thought, well, I'll make the AI tougher. I'll keep the sports rules in, because if something stupid does happen, it's not, you know, the end of the world. We can recover. And I decided to start from the back. Now, talking about the Honda NSX, which is a fantastic car in its own right, they have done a few little updates in this as well, and I'm going to go through each sort of iteration of that in the up and coming videos, because of course each car they have redeveloped some of the sounds, more upgrades. something that I like about this car, which I didn't pick for the actual racing, but I will showcase at the end, is the brand new Mugen body kit, which looks heavily based off the Super GT. If you haven't watched Super GT in Japan, highly recommend it. It is on motorsport.com and it is awesome. It really is. Some of the best racing I've seen. You can just get lost into it for a few hours, you know, sit back, relax, and just enjoy Japanese sports car, touring car racing as it's meant to. And yeah, they made a version of this car with the Mugen body kit, which we will go through at the end, I promise you that. So stick around to find out how that looks. And of course it has this beautiful roof scoop as well, roof air intake, which the Super GT cars had, which I just think looks amazing on the NSX 2005. And what a car as well to pick for this anniversary, and for Forza Horizon, no, not Forza Horizon 1, Forza Motorsport 1, because the NSX was just, it is one of my favourite cars. I know sometimes it gets a bit forgotten in the world of supercars and sports cars, but I will tell you now, it is one of my favourites. Not my favourite. My favourite's still yet to be decided, actually, as a 27-year-old man who's only driven one or two sports supercars. I have done my experiences, so I do know what they're like. Don't worry, I don't own any of them. It's just some good experience there, having driven some cars like this. Have driven an Aston Martin Vantage and also a Porsche Cayman, along with a single-seater at least once. Again, not a racing driver, these are experiences, but I highly recommend them. But the NSX is definitely on my bucket list of cars to drive, not just because of the beautiful mid-engine layout that this car has and that very, very iconic Japanese sports car feel, but also I really want to drive it because it was developed in part with McLaren, and one of my idols, I think you guys know who I'm on about, Ayrton Senna, from Brazil, three-time Formula 1 champion for McLaren Honda back in F1, who unfortunately was killed in '94. He had an impact on this car during McLaren and Honda's collaboration. The first time around, you know, when they were actually good. I wouldn't necessarily count what happened back in 2015 to 2017 being any good at all. Two very different companies working with very different philosophies. However, it's quite weird to think how, since they split, both have gone on to win championships. McLaren with Mercedes winning the Constructors last season. Depending when you're watching this, they might have won the Drivers as well in 2025. And Red Bull having that dominant streak between the end of 2021 all the way to just last season. So it's quite interesting to see that, how both manufacturers worked together and then they broke away and worked with different partners and have had success. So just a little bit of a talking point there. I am also a huge F1 fan, and I do have a Formula 1 career mode coming soon. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to give you some deets about that later on in up and coming videos. I don't really want to make that the focus of today, but again, if you like motorsport, racing, more old school YouTube, then, you know, hit the like and subscribe button. I can just go on about this stuff for ages, I really can. As we took another win, Laguna Seca, by the way, I just want to say, is one of my all-time favourite circuits. It was just you know, I've got some good memories from when I used to do iRacing, and we're now heading to the Sunset Peninsula, which is another amazing track. Again, first time I've been here as well. It was very much giving Daytona Roval style feels, but I believe it was designed long before then. And as we got off to the start, it was a little bit of a wall bang there, and but it didn't really matter too much. I do have to say, when it comes to having instant-free races, I'm still figuring that one out, as the Nissan tried to come around the outside, but I thought, no, I'm not going to let him through. It was my line, and I pushed him wide just a little bit. He was coming in at quite a rate as well. So yeah, but this has definitely been quite a fun little game to play so far, and one thing I do love is Laguna Seca, which I'm going to go back to now and talk a little bit about. Laguna Seca, fantastic circuit. The corkscrew, amazing. I remember doing a YouTube video on one of my old channels, and it was just, I was doing a Formula, I can't remember, was it Formula Mazda or something? It was a single-seater championship on iRacing, and I can't believe I've actually forgotten the manufacturer. And I just remember I was chasing down someone for the win of the race, and it was just getting so close. It was just unbelievable. And I remember trying to get through into turn 1. So I'm of course looking down the outside. I'm trying to make him think I'm going for the outside maneuver because he was very slow, but he was also very good at holding a defensive line. It was some amazing defensive driving, so I ended up having to pull a dummy on him because he was trying to push me out wide in turn 1. So I went, okay, I'm going to make you think that, and then did the old switcheroo, cut back to the inside, and it was a P1, which was quite the drive, to be honest. It was just such great fun. So revisiting circuits like Laguna Seca and some of these racing games just brings back a lot of memories of my time as a sim racer. Don't do it anymore. Don't have a steering wheel or pedal set. I'm gone back to the pad, which is doable. I'm not as good on the pad, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I'm okay with it now to where I can really enjoy it, especially with Gran Turismo 7. I'm quite competent with it. But of course, there's always going to be more that you get from the wheel in any racing game, including Forza, which I know is Forza Motorsport is very good with the wheel, but not so great with the pad. It does take a bit of learning, but we're up there. Now, of course, as I've been yapping away, we have been just making some really nice moves, carving our way through. We got the car spot on, I think, in regards to setup, and the AI was very slow in the midsection, in the infield of the oval, which was quite interesting. However, we were still, because we had the torque and the downforce, we were pretty much okay. Still not the fastest with actual cornering speed, but it didn't matter, especially as we go past some of these little Corvettes and muscle cars, which were even slower. And there we go. We also got a Lotus as well, which was another car which was quite popular. And that's the thing. One thing I loved about this event, as well as yapping on about my time racing in cars and in real life and also on games, is that I do like how the cars are actually specific to the game and that era. So of course we've got a lot of Corvettes, RX-7s, Dodge Vipers, as well as Mr. Charlie 2012 running wide there. And of course we made a very nice maneuver here on this Lotus as well. Just opened the door and we just scythed our way through. So this game is just the detail that they have when it comes to picking the tracks and the cars from Forza Motorsport 1 will really give you that feel. And it was just, I was quite into it. I remember when I was playing this and recording it, I just got into such a nice sort of like flow with gaming. Everything gets a bit tunnel vision-y, which is one of my favourite feelings. As we come to the end of this, we won all 4 races. And the NSX just looked absolutely gorgeous. And there you go. I mean, there's no real big cutscenes or anything. There's a little introduction video, which isn't too great. But you do get some really cool little race suits. So, of course, I went to apply it. And I just wanted to showcase as well how it would look. Which, if you're, male or female, whatever you want to pick. There you go. And the suit looks really nice. So what we're going to do is throughout this season is we're going to just put on the latest suit we win. So that Forza Motorsport 2 suit. Oh, I really like that one. The Forza 3 and 4 ones looking quite clean. And then there's kind of that futurism with Forza 6 and 7 suit. And then, of course, Forza Motorsport. And to finish off, this is what I promised to you. The Mugen Super GT styled inspired body kit, and I just think it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's really giving the early 2000s version of this car type of feel, and I think that's when it was inspired, because the car went through a sort of even more modern iteration towards the late 2000s before the car was retired for the HSV, which if you haven't heard it, I highly recommend it. But here is the car, the box car in its special livery, and I wish I'd applied it earlier. What I will do is, if there are any liveries coming up that look amazing for these cars from the box, I will add them. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a like and a favourite and share it across the world. It's been nice to just reminisce, have a little ramble, have a little discussion, and talk about this game. But I'll see you in the next episode, where we will visit Forza Motorsport 2. Goodbye for now.